So, we're going to talk today about breathing and long COVID. And I know that it's a problem for a lot of you out there, whether it's shortness of breath or whether it feels like your lungs themselves have been affected. And we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between, well, not the difference between the two of those, but different causes for shortness of breath. And, somebody asked me a great question, I think it was last week, asking if my experience with having long COVID is similar, the same, or different to what I experienced when I had chronic fatigue syndrome so many years ago. And I'll get more into that in another post, or another video. But what I have noticed is that I'm noticing the shortness of breath more than I think I experienced it that first time around with the chronic fatigue syndrome. And that was after a different virus. I have no idea what virus it was. So I think that COVID itself, we know that it affects the lungs, that that's kind of where it goes for most people, in addition to other places. Anywho, for those of you who are having issues with dyspnea, is the medical term for it, it's shortness of breath, there are a couple things that you can do, and also just some background about it. Sometimes it's caused by actual issues with the lungs themselves, and sometimes it's caused simply by the lack of energy in your muscles. So it could also be a combination of both of those. So it's kind of difficult to know which is which, but the good news is that the breathing techniques that I'm going to show you are going to help you, at least in the now. I don't know that they have a lasting effect. I would think that they do, because they're very healing. But yeah, let's get into that. So the first one is going to be a method of, you're going to breathe into the count of 4, and then you're going to hold it at the top to a count of 8. And then you exhale through pursed lips to the count of 8. And then again, you inhale to the count of 4, hold to the count of 8, and then exhale through pursed lips. So I'll show you as an example, but this is something that you can do, at any time throughout the day. So you just breathe in, either through the nose, probably through the nose, actually. Let's do it that way, through the nose. Then you hold at the top to the count of 8. And then you breathe out through pursed lips. So, and you can keep doing that for, as many rounds as feels good to you or right to you. And what you might notice is that you might feel a little lightheaded or a little woozy after doing that. So make sure that you're seated while you're doing it. And it is similar to the Wim Hof technique for a couple of different reasons. There are definitely some differences. But that's one method of breathing to try. The other that I highly recommend, just for whenever you're going throughout your day, if you're noticing that you're feeling short of breath or anxious, it's called Ujjayi breath, and it's a yogic method of breathing. It's very often used during a hatha practice, or really any practice, really to bring yourself into your body and to be aware of your breath. It's also a very healing breath. So the way that you do it is you actually very slightly tense the muscles in your neck. So if you don't know how to do it, then you can kind of clear your throat. And those are the muscles that you're going to be using. And it sounds like when you hold a seashell up to your ear. So it sounds very faintly at the ocean. And it goes like this. It's kind of like a Darth Vader breath too, if you exaggerate it. So you don't have to do it super loudly, but once you start doing it and you've done it for a few minutes, you're going to notice that you do tend to calm down. So even before I got long COVID, if I was having a day when I was running around a lot, or just feeling very high energy and maybe a little anxious, or like a little too much was going on, a little overwhelmed, I would just do Ujjayi breath as I was walking around the house, doing things, before meetings and appointments. So again, it sounds like this. And one of the advantages of the Ujjayi breath, if you're already feeling shortness of breath, is that it doesn't ask you to breathe into your full capacity. So I know that sometimes when we do feel short of breath, when we try to take that full breath in and we can't, it causes this anxiety response in our bodies, right? So actually keeping your breath, keeping yourself from trying to take that full breath, or just allowing yourself to take a natural breath is a little easier. And that Ujjayi breath, when you're closing off the part of your throat and you just have a smaller place for the air to come in and out of, it makes it so that it's not feeling so anxiety inducing, because you don't have to breathe in. I'm just saying the same thing over again. And so see if that helps you out. Let me know if it does. You can let me know in the comments, or if you have other questions that you'd like for me to address. And I'll see you again in the next video.